The air crackled with unease. Fear, a venomous serpent, coiled around the hearts of men. The global network, once a beacon of connectivity, now broadcast a chilling message: the rise of the one world economic system. It promised unity, prosperity, an end to scarcity. But beneath the veneer of hope, a dark truth festered. This was the harbinger, the forerunner to an ancient prophecy, the mark of the beast. Across the world, churches stood empty, their pews abandoned. The faithful vanished, spirited away in the rapture, leaving behind a world teetering on the precipice of chaos. And in the vacuum of faith, the Antichrist ascended, his charisma a potent drug that dulled reason and ignited a fervor of blind allegiance. The mark was not a crude branding, but a technological marvel, a biometric chip implanted beneath the skin. It was touted as a symbol of progress, a key to unlocking the bounty of the New World Order. But the seductive whispers hid a terrifying truth. The mark was not a gift, but a shackle, binding souls to the will of the beast. Who were these souls, so easily swayed by empty promises? Some were driven by desperation. The world, ravaged by natural disasters and economic collapse, offered little solace. The mark, they were told, was a passport to survival, guaranteeing sustenance and security in a world spiraling into chaos. Others were seduced by the allure of power and wealth. The New World Order, with its rigid hierarchy, promised unimaginable riches and influence to those who pledged unwavering loyalty. They saw the mark as a badge of privilege, a symbol of their ascent to the apex of this new world. Fear, greed, desire, primal instincts twisted into justifications. The insidious genius of the mark lay not in its forceful imposition, but in its subtle coercion. It preyed on the vulnerabilities of the human heart, exploiting their deepest fears and desires, leading them astray with whispers of comfort and security. However, there remained pockets of resistance. Scattered groups, their faith unshaken, recognized the mark for what it truly was, the seal of damnation. They saw the emptiness behind the promises, the tyranny lurking beneath the veneer of unity. They chose to stand defiant, clinging to their faith, even as the world around them descended into darkness. The consequences of accepting the mark were swift and absolute. Those who bore the mark were seamlessly integrated into the New World Order. Their every transaction, their every movement was monitored and controlled. Their lives, once their own, were now dictated by the dictates of the Antichrist. But the price of this so-called utopia was far greater than mere freedom. As the days bled into weeks, a chilling transformation began to take hold. The marked, their souls branded by the beast, grew cold, their humanity slowly ebbing away. They became shadows, their eyes reflecting not the light of reason, but the cold, calculating gleam of the Antichrist. The world, once vibrant and diverse, was now draped in the oppressive monotony of conformity. Art, music, literature, anything that smacked of individuality or dissent was ruthlessly purged. The world under the dominion of the beast was a soulless, mechanized existence where every aspect of life was dictated and controlled. Yet, the true horror of the mark lay not in its immediate consequences, but in its eternal ramifications. For in accepting the mark, one willingly surrendered their soul to the beast, forfeiting their place in the eternal kingdom of God. The Bible is clear: those who bear the mark are eternally damned, their fate sealed for all eternity. The world watched in horror as the marked, their humanity extinguished, marched towards their own destruction. The once bustling cities, now sterile and lifeless, stood as grim monuments to the devastating consequences of their choice. The mark, a symbol of their allegiance to the beast, had become the mark of their damnation. The tragedy of the mark serves as a stark reminder of the choices we face in our own lives. We are constantly bombarded with temptations, with promises of comfort, security, and power. But these promises often come at a steep price. The compromise of our values, the betrayal of our faith, the surrender of our very souls. The mark of the beast is not just a fantastical element of biblical prophecy, it is a powerful metaphor for the choices we make every day. It reminds us to be vigilant, to guard our hearts against deception, and to cling steadfastly to our faith, even in the face of fear and uncertainty. For in the end, our eternal destiny hangs in the balance.